In the heart of the American West, Wyatt Earp emerges as a figure cloaked in both reverence and suspicion. His tall, lean frame, marked by a prominent mustache and intense blue-gray eyes, walks the dusty streets of Tombstone, a town rife with tension and opportunity. The saloon doors swing open, revealing a world of gambling, whiskey, and whispered rumors. Earp's calm demeanor stands in stark contrast to the chaos around him, as men brawl and women gossip, each encounter steeped in the lawlessness of frontier life. Earp's reputation as a lawman is shadowed by the violence that surrounds him. He is not merely a protector of order, but a man shaped by the very chaos he seeks to control. His journey is one of moral ambiguity, loyalty, and ambition. Newspapers and dime novels spin tales of his exploits, transforming Wyatt into a larger-than-life figure. Yet the truth of his life is far more complex, marked by personal loss, shifting allegiances, and the ever-present specter of violence. As Earp strides purposefully toward the Corral, the air thickens with anticipation. The townsfolk watch, their eyes filled with a mix of admiration and fear, unsure of whether he is a hero or a harbinger of doom. His presence commands respect, yet whispers of his past linger in the air. Earp's journey is not just about enforcing the law. It is also a quest for identity in a world where the lines between right and wrong blur. Behind the myth lies a man grappling with his own demons. The lawman is also a killer, a man who has faced loss and betrayal. Each step he takes is a reminder of the choices that have shaped his destiny. As the sun sets over Tombstone, casting long shadows, the question remains, who is Wyatt Earp beyond the legend? Is he a symbol of justice or a man driven by revenge and ambition? In a land where myth and reality intertwine, Wyatt Earp's story is just beginning. The choices he makes will echo through history, but will they define him or merely add to the legend? Wyatt Earp was born into a large family, constantly on the move across the rugged American frontier. Each new town brought fresh challenges, shaping him into a man of resilience and ambition, molded by the harsh realities of life. His father, a man of principles, instilled a sense of justice in Wyatt from an early age. The lessons learned in the fields and the values of family loyalty would guide him as he navigated a world rife with conflict. As a young man, Wyatt took on various roles: farmhand, teamster, and wagon rider. Each job was a stepping stone, yet he never settled, driven by an insatiable restlessness that mirrored the shifting landscape around him. Tragedy struck when his first wife fell ill and died, leaving Wyatt adrift in a world that felt increasingly hostile. This loss marked a turning point, igniting a journey filled with uncertainty and the shadows of his past. In the years that followed, accusations of horse theft and brawling began to follow him. Each confrontation hinted at the darker side of his character, foreshadowing the complex man he would become. Wyatt's life became a series of restless pursuits, moving from town to town, always seeking a fresh start. Yet the law was never far behind, and the line between right and wrong began to blur. Despite his troubles, Wyatt's reputation grew. He was known for his quick temper, but also for his unwavering loyalty to family. This duality would become a defining trait in his journey toward becoming a lawman. As Wyatt matured, the lessons of his childhood became more pronounced. The values instilled by his father and the loyalty of his brothers forged a path that would lead him toward a life of law and order. The restless years of Wyatt's youth set the stage for his transformation. With each passing day, the man who would become a symbol of justice was slowly emerging from the shadows of his past. In the bustling frontier town of Wichita, Wyatt Earp, now in his late 20s, stands tall with his iconic mustache and stern expression. His blue-gray eyes scan the chaotic saloon, where brawls erupt over cards and whiskey. Known for his calm demeanor, he steps forward to diffuse the tension, embodying the law amid the lawless. This is a man who understands the fine line between order and chaos, navigating the unruly world he polices. As he walks through the saloon, Wyatt's polished boots echo against the wooden floor. He approaches a table where two men are shouting, their fists clenched. With a steady voice, he intervenes, urging them to settle their differences outside. This ability to maintain order without resorting to violence earns him respect among the townsfolk, solidifying his reputation as a disciplined lawman navigating the complexities of frontier life. In Dodge City, Wyatt's reputation continues to grow. He walks the dusty streets, his star-shaped badge gleaming in the sun. He encounters Bat Masterson, a fellow lawman, and they share a knowing glance. Their bond, forged in the fires of frontier justice, becomes a crucial alliance. Together, they navigate the challenges of law enforcement, balancing the demands of their roles with the temptations of the Wild West. Despite his dedication to law and order, Wyatt finds himself drawn to the allure of gambling. In the evenings, he frequents the saloons, where the clinking of coins and laughter fills the air. He plays cards with the same intensity he brings to his duties, revealing a man who straddles the line between lawman and participant in the vices of the frontier. This duality defines his character, adding layers to the legend he is becoming. As tensions rise in Dodge City, Wyatt is faced with the challenge of maintaining peace among rival factions. He stands in front of a group of rowdy cowboys, his tall, lean figure imposing against the backdrop of a setting sun. With a steady hand resting on his holstered revolver, he speaks firmly, urging them to respect the law. His presence commands attention, a reminder of the authority he wields amid the chaos. The line between lawman and outlaw blurs further as Wyatt finds himself in a brawl one night. Surrounded by chaos, he fights to protect a friend, showcasing his willingness to engage in violence when necessary. Despite the risks, his actions reinforce his reputation as a man of principle, willing to defend those who cannot defend themselves, even if it means stepping outside the bounds of the law. Amid the turmoil, Wyatt's relationship with Doc Holliday deepens. The two men, both navigating the fringes of society, find common ground in their shared experiences. As they share drinks and stories, they forge a bond that transcends their respective roles as lawman and gambler. This friendship becomes a pivotal part of Wyatt's life, shaping his decisions and actions in the turbulent days ahead. As Wyatt's tenure as a lawman continues, he faces increasing scrutiny from those who question his methods. The newspapers portray him in contrasting lights, some hailing him as a hero, while others label him a tyrant. This duality weighs heavily on him, as he grapples with the expectations of the townspeople and the reality of his actions. The pressures of his role begin to take their toll, shaping the man he is becoming. As Wyatt stands on the edge of a dusty street, he reflects on his journey thus far. His tall, athletic frame casts a long shadow in the fading light, a symbol of the man he has become. The challenges of law enforcement in the frontier have hardened him, yet his commitment to justice remains unwavering. With the promise of new conflicts on the horizon, Wyatt prepares for the next chapter of his tumultuous life. Wyatt Earp, in his early 30s, arrives in Tombstone, a bustling mining town filled with promise. His tall, lean figure, dressed in a long coat and wide-brim hat, stands out against the backdrop of wooden storefronts and dusty streets. He seeks fortune, not conflict, envisioning a prosperous future amidst the chaos of the frontier. As Wyatt invests in various businesses, including a saloon and mining claims, the atmosphere in Tombstone grows increasingly tense. The cowboys, a group of outlaws, loom large, their presence felt in the shadows of the town. Wyatt's reputation as a lawman begins to clash with the lawlessness surrounding him, setting the stage for inevitable confrontations. Wyatt's brothers, Virgil and Morgan, join him in Tombstone, both taking on roles as lawmen. The trio, with their shared sense of justice, aims to restore order. However, their bond is tested as they face threats from the cowboys, who view the Earps as obstacles to their ambitions. The town's political landscape becomes a battleground. As rival factions emerge, the local newspapers fan the flames of conflict, portraying Wyatt alternately as a hero and a tyrant. Headlines scream of lawlessness and bloodshed, fueling public sentiment. Wyatt, with his intense blue-gray eyes, feels the weight of expectation and scrutiny, navigating his role as a lawman amid growing unrest. Tensions escalate as Wyatt's attempts to mediate between the factions often lead to violent confrontations. He finds himself caught in a web of loyalty and betrayal, where friends can quickly become foes. The line between right and wrong blurs, and his reputation as a lawman faces scrutiny from both sides of the law. Despite the chaos, Wyatt remains determined to maintain order. He patrols the streets with a composed demeanor, his iconic mustache and upright posture commanding respect. Yet the simmering animosity from the cowboys grows, and whispers of violence echo through the saloons, hinting at the explosive events to come. As Wyatt navigates this treacherous landscape, his relationships with his brothers deepen. Virgil and Morgan rely on his leadership, while Wyatt feels the burden of their safety. The bonds of brotherhood are tested as they prepare for the inevitable clash with the cowboys, each confrontation drawing them closer to a breaking point. The atmosphere in Tombstone grows heavier with each passing day as threats become more direct. Wyatt's resolve hardens, and he begins to see the cowboys not just as outlaws but as personal adversaries. His desire for peace transforms into a determination to protect his family and uphold the law, even at great cost. As the town fractures into rival factions, the stage is set for a confrontation that will change the course of Wyatt's life. The air is thick with anticipation, and the people of Tombstone hold their breath, waiting for the spark that will ignite the powder keg of tensions. The path to the OK Corral is drawing ever closer. On a fateful October afternoon in 1881, the tension in Tombstone reaches a boiling point. Wyatt Earp, a tall, lean figure with an iconic mustache and intense blue-gray eyes, stands resolute, ready to confront the cowboys. The dusty streets are filled with anxious townsfolk, their faces reflecting the fear and anticipation of the impending clash. As Wyatt and his brothers prepare for the confrontation, whispers of betrayal and vengeance swirl through the air. The narrow lot of the OK Corral becomes a stage for an explosive showdown. Tension hangs heavy, and the atmosphere crackles with the promise of violence, as Doc Holliday, a wiry figure with a sharp gaze, stands ready at Wyatt's side. In an instant, chaos erupts. Gunfire shatters the tense silence as bullets fly through the air, striking the ground and ricocheting off walls. Wyatt, with his long coat billowing, moves with purpose, embodying a calm amidst the storm. The sound of gunfire echoes, drowning out the cries of the wounded and the shouts of the combatants. The gunfight lasts mere moments, but its impact is profound. When the smoke begins to clear, several cowboys lie dead or wounded, their bodies sprawled in the dirt. Wyatt stands tall, his stern expression unyielding, while the town grapples with the aftermath of violence. The line between lawman and outlaw blurs, leaving a scar on Tombstone's history. In the days that follow, the town is engulfed in a storm of accusations and trials. Wyatt's calm demeanor contrasts sharply with the chaos surrounding him. As he testifies, his blue-gray eyes remain focused, revealing a man who believes in his version of justice, even as the townsfolk debate the morality of his actions. The media frenzy ignites, with newspapers portraying Wyatt as both a hero and a villain. His name becomes synonymous with the gunfight, and the legend begins to take shape. The Earps are thrust into the national spotlight, their actions dissected by journalists eager to capture the essence of frontier justice and its moral complexities. As Wyatt navigates the aftermath, he feels the weight of loyalty to his fallen brothers. The vendetta against the cowboys simmers beneath the surface, a potent mix of grief and rage. He stands at a crossroads, contemplating the path ahead, knowing that the choices he makes will define him forever. The OK Corral has become a flashpoint, igniting a cycle of violence and revenge. As Wyatt prepares for the next chapter of his life, he knows that the legend is only beginning to unfold. The line between justice and retribution blurs, and the choices he faces will reverberate through history. The air in Tombstone thickens with tension after Morgan Earp's assassination. Wyatt, now in his 30s, with a prominent mustache and intense blue eyes, feels the weight of vengeance settle on his shoulders, transforming him from lawman to avenger. With Virgil Earp ambushed, Wyatt gathers a posse of loyal men, including Doc Holliday. The group, a mix of hardened gunslingers and steadfast friends, prepares for a relentless pursuit of those responsible for the violence against his family. As they ride out into the vast Arizona landscape, Wyatt's focus sharpens. Dust swirls around their horses, and the sun sets behind them, casting long shadows that mirror the darkness growing within him, blurring the line between justice and revenge. Ambushes become a frequent tactic as Wyatt's relentless pursuit leads them to confrontations with the cowboys. Each encounter is marked by gunfire and chaos, with Wyatt's calm demeanor contrasting sharply against the violence erupting around him. With each confrontation, Wyatt's reputation shifts. Once a respected lawman, he now walks the fine line of a fugitive, driven by a code of loyalty that only he understands, as he hunts down those who wronged his family. The Vendetta Ride takes its toll. Wyatt's face shows signs of fatigue, and his once polished boots are now caked with mud and dust. He grapples with the moral implications of his quest, questioning whether he is enacting justice or succumbing to vengeance. Despite the violence, Wyatt finds moments of camaraderie with his posse. Laughter and shared stories echo around the campfire, reminding him of the bonds of brotherhood that fuel his mission, even as the darkness of his quest looms. As the Vendetta Ride continues, Wyatt's resolve hardens. He knows that each step forward leads him deeper into a world where the lines of loyalty and morality blur, setting the stage for a confrontation that will define his legacy. In the years following the tumult of Tombstone, Wyatt Earp, now in his 50s, wanders through the dusty streets of various mining camps. His once sharp features are softened by age, yet his intense blue eyes still hold a flicker of the lawman he was. He drifts from one venture to another, seeking fortune as a saloon keeper and gambler, embodying the restless spirit of the frontier. As Wyatt navigates the world of gambling, he finds himself both revered and reviled. The stories of his past exploits grow, morphing into tales of heroism and myth. Yet he remains acutely aware of the shadows that linger, the darker chapters of his life, overshadowed by the legends being spun around him. The man behind the badge is often lost in the tales of the hero. In the 1910s, Wyatt finds himself in Hollywood, where the burgeoning film industry seeks to capture the essence of the Wild West. As an advisor, he shares his experiences, shaping the narratives that will define his legacy. The bright lights and cameras contrast sharply with the dusty towns of his past, yet he remains a man caught between reality and the myth being crafted around him. As the years pass, Wyatt's health begins to decline. His once athletic frame becomes frail, and the toll of a life lived on the edge becomes evident. Despite this, he continues to embrace the persona of the legendary lawman, attending events where his stories are celebrated. The contrast between his aging body and the vibrant tales of his youth becomes a poignant reminder of the passage of time. In 1929, as Wyatt approaches the end of his journey, the world around him has transformed. The myth of Wyatt Earp has grown, with newspapers hailing him as the last great lawman of the West. Yet behind the accolades lies a man who has grappled with the complexities of justice and revenge, a legacy that is both celebrated and scrutinized. As Wyatt's life comes to a close, the stories of his exploits are immortalized in film and literature. The man who once walked the dusty streets of Tombstone is now a symbol of frontier justice, his image larger than life. Yet the complexities of his character remain obscured, overshadowed by the myth that has taken root in the American consciousness. Wyatt Earp passes away, leaving behind a legacy that is as multifaceted as the man himself. The stories that once defined his life continue to evolve, reflecting the values and struggles of a nation. In death, he becomes an enduring figure, a testament to the complexities of justice, loyalty, and the myth-making that shapes history. The legend of Wyatt Earp lives on, a powerful narrative woven into the fabric of American history. As new generations discover his story, they grapple with the dichotomy of the man and the myth. In this dance between reality and legend, Wyatt Earp remains an icon, a figure who navigated the fine line between justice and revenge, forever etched in the annals of the West.